I wanted to take a few minutes to speak to you about vehicle preparedness and why it's so important to have all the necessary tools in a vehicle in case there's an emergency. We're going to talk about this in a couple different ways. One, from a bug out point of view. So maybe you want to learn more about having a vehicle and all the tools that you need to have a bug out vehicle. And second of all, just to have all the tools that you need in case an emergency should happen while you're on the road. It's still wintertime in a lot of places, so there's snow on the road, there's ice. In other places it can be raining and very dangerous. So anytime you go on a traveling event or go on any type of a trip, you should make sure that you have everything in your car that you need in case an emergency should arrive. So let's start out by talking about the type of vehicle that I particularly have. It may not be right for all of you. You may have families or different financial situations or whatever, but this is the particular vehicle that I bought to function both as my bug out vehicle and as my travel vehicle. I have an older model Ford F-250 with a 7.3 diesel in it. And the reason I picked this vehicle is for a couple reasons. One, its size and capabilities and its durability. And secondly, the robust 7.3 diesel engine. Naturally, a diesel engine allows you to burn all types of fuel. So I can burn regular diesel, I could burn kerosene, I could actually burn vegetable oil if I needed to make this engine run. The second thing about the older model 7.3 diesel is it has limited electronics in it. So that reduces the likelihood that if something broke down, I might need an electronic fix to it. Most cases, it's just going to need a manual fix. So let's take a quick walk around my truck. I'll just kind of show you some of the characteristics I've built into it so that you might want to use those. First of all, as you can see, it's a crew cab. So I got a crew cab so I could carry extra people, family members if I needed to, friends or whatever it might be, or I could use that for additional storage space. Second thing I got, as you can see, I have oversized tires on it. These are 33s. These are BF Goodrich Mutter tires. My truck is not lifted. This height is based on just the size of the tires. It's an older model truck, so it has 16-inch wheels that have to go on these tires. This is a very robust tire, as you can see. I wanted something I'd be able to go off the road if I needed to, whether it was mud, snow, or whatever. It would be a good tire to get me through all of those things. The truck is a 4x4 truck. On the other side of the truck here, you'll see I have a heavy-duty bumper guard. This serves multiple functions. First of all, you can see it's set up that I could push a vehicle I needed to or bump into anything I needed to. Even if it was debris in the road, I could push it out. It protects my engine and my radiator should I hit anything, including an animal or anything along those lines. I have heavy-duty tow hitches right here, or tow hooks, so I could hook up to anything and be able to pull something out or have somebody pull myself out. If moving to the back of the truck, as you will see here, I have a built-in liner in the back of my truck, which helps protect the bed from rust and corrosion. And naturally, all trucks this size, or at least most of them, have a nice heavy-duty tow hitch on them with two different types of adapters so that you could hook up a trailer or anything else, an RV if you needed to pull along with you. So overall, this particular vehicle works perfect for me as both a travel vehicle and as a bug out vehicle. So let's take a look inside my vehicle and see what I carry and all the other items that I take with me every day in case an emergency should happen. And I'll talk about the difference between what I carry locally and what I might carry if I go on a little bit longer trip. So let me share with you what I carry in the cab of my vehicle. And just to let you know that the things that I'm showing you go with me 90% of the time. So in my driver's door, I have a couple things. One, very important, a navigation tool. Now you would like to have a navigator with you, or you'd like to have somebody else that could help you with this, but it doesn't always do you very much good to have your map in the passenger side or in the back of your truck. So I have a map right here, readily, easily accessible to me. Second thing I have is if I have to jump out really fast, maybe a car accident, grab some debris out of the road, I have some work gloves. The third thing is, in case it is an auto accident or whatever, I carry a bright orange vest. One of these easy to put on. Basically, it's kind of a hunter's vest that you can wear so that people can see you when law enforcement shows up or anybody. They would more readily identify you with somebody trying to help and do something good when you have a nice vest on. So I carry one of those. The next thing that I carry in my driver's door is some Repel or some bug spray, because you never know if you have to get out and walk or it's the summertime or whatever. You want a good bug spray readily available. So that's what I carry in my driver's door. Moving towards the center of my cab, I always carry 2 communication devices. So I have my traditional cell phone and I have a tablet. Both of these allow me to communicate if one should break or get broken or anything should happen. I have a backup to do that and to communicate. The third communication tool I have is a CB. And most people think CBs are very outdated and are something of the 80s or maybe even the 90s. But in reality, if you're on the road, it's an exceptional communication tool for being able to talk to truckers and learn about road hazards, weather conditions, where fuel might be. There's so many things that you can use them for. Or if you broke down on the road and maybe you're out of cell coverage and there's no cell service in that area, the CB will allow you to talk to other drivers, particularly truck drivers, and look for assistance. One of the other items I always carry is a thermal cup. I mean, naturally in my bug out bag, which we went over, not my bug out bag, my get home bag, which we've gone over in a separate video and we'll talk about a little bit in a minute. I have some water filtration devices and some hydration devices, but I always keep this readily available because it fits comfortably here and I can pour fluids into it and drink out of it without spilling it. The next thing is chapstick. This is one tool I think that most people overlook all the time. Even when you're driving, if you have to have your windows down or whatever, your lips will get dry if you're breathing through your mouth, and this helps address that. In my center console, in this particular truck, I have 3 flashlights. So you never know when you need more than one flashlight. Naturally, I have one on my phone as well. But multiple flashlights are very important. Should you come across an accident at night, a lot of other people may not have flashlights and other people may want to see what's going on. You might need them to direct traffic or anything. So this gives you several resources to have extra flashlights. In addition, I carry extra batteries, marking pens, and paper to take notes if you have to. I always carry just a little bit of candy for some instant sugar if I need. And then even though I have a knife on me at all times, I always carry an additional knife in my center console. So a lot of people carry a lot of different things here. You might carry your personal protection weapon here, some extra magazines and things like that. Underneath my console, kind of a little bit of a hiding place, but it helps. I carry some Gatorade, or if you want to call it, some kind of sports drink that I always have available to me in case I need anything to drink while I'm driving. And one tool that I carry that a lot of people don't think about is binoculars. Underneath my center console, I always have a pair of binoculars. These allow me to look ahead in traffic if I need to, or look at anything I need to. So this is a great additional tool that's invaluable, I think, inside your car. Naturally, I have my sunglasses, and as my friends will tell you, many times I'll have 5 or 6 pairs of my other glasses laying around my truck so that I have them readily available. So that's kind of what I carry in the front cab of my truck that's readily available. On the passenger side, I have additional maps of states surrounding the state that I live in, so that if I get outside of my state, I can reach over there, or I can get one of those maps and move it over to the driver's side if I'm by myself, or keep it over there if I'm lucky to have a navigator or somebody else with me. So that gives you a little bit of the insight to the front part of my vehicle. Let's move to the back and I'll show you what I carry in the back. So let's take a look in the rear compartment of my truck. Nowadays, a lot of cars come with inverters already built in them. My truck actually has 2 cigarette-style connections in the front that you can use to hook up your electronic devices. But in addition to that, and it's going to be a little hard for you to see, under my seat right here, I have a 4-prong inverter. So just with the press of the button, I can turn on my inverter, and it gives me additional places to plug in anything I need to charge, run a laptop, whatever I want to do, I can run that from here. This inverter actually would run a drill. I think it'll run a coffee pot, may even run a refrigerator. It's a pretty heavy duty inverter. So I have that right under here so I can easily access it if I need to. The next thing in the back seat, this is some type of a windshield protector. If I needed to put over the windshield to protect from sun or protect from anything, this can also be used outdoor for any kind of a reflective type of ice. As you can see, additional bottles of a sports drink right here, and I have some wet wipes readily available. So you never know when you might need to pull over to the side of the road to use the restroom, or you've eaten something and you want to dry off or clean up your hands or your face, or you just want to wipe down. So having these readily available close to you is very, very important. On my seat, and these go everywhere with me, I usually have a roll of paper towels. Again, you never know when you're going to need those. I have a much larger solar panel. This sometimes goes into my bug out bag or my get home bag. It easily slides into there. So if I need to be mobile, I can put this solar panel in my get home bag. I have a mobile, easy to grab and carry first aid kit. It's got all types of trauma supplies in it. So if I have to stop at an automobile accident, I have some medical training in my background. So I stop at auto accidents anytime I need to and try to be of help if I can. And then right here is my get home bag. Again, we've talked about this several times. This is, I've gone through this whole bag with you in additional video, and there's enough supplies in here for me to last 2, maybe 3 days without having to find any additional resources. So if I'm stuck on the road, or if I have to hike somewhere, or if I have to move into the woods, or whatever I have to do, I have all the supplies I need to last 2 or 3 days, including extra ammo for my handgun and extra ammo and magazines for my long gun. I live in a state where it rains a lot, so I keep a waterproof, windproof Gore-Tex raincoat also in my back seat, close to my get home bag. In case I need to grab this, I have that right there. Now this is where it gets a little bit more serious, and this would depend on your space and depend on what you have available to you. I'll move some of this out of the way. But behind my seat here is a very important component. So sometimes if I'm traveling long distance or based on a threat assessment, I can put a long gun back here and have my long gun back here to take with me. But as you can see, I have WD-40. I have lithium grease in case I need to pull it. I have a gallon of oil, brake fluid, transmission fluid. I have antifreeze. I have a funnel to put all of it in. I have a trailer hitch. I have a Q-beam light. I have a hatchet right here. So in case I need some more serious tool for cutting wood or cutting down a tree. And I have your traditional jumper cables along with 3 extremely heavy duty tow ropes. So I have additional items back here for any type of thing. I also have duct tape. And if I go on a trip greater than 200 miles, I will throw a serpentine belt in here. So I will always have a serpentine belt for me in case my belt should break. But duct tape is another great thing to have. I have it right here, and that works well if you should blow a hole in any of your water hoses or anything like that and you need to tape them up. But having all of these fluids available for your car in case you should break down or run out of them is invaluable on the road. So all of these extra supplies, it also gives you space if you also want to put a long gun in and carry a long gun. So that's kind of what I carry in the back compartment of my truck. I know it looks a little crowded, but I've had 4 people or 2 people back here and 1 person in the front with me, and no trouble with all of these items right in the middle. Plus, that's why I have a pickup truck, so I can put everything in the back if I need to. So speaking of that, let's move to the back and let's talk about what I carry every day with me in the back of my truck. So I live in a state where it's exceedingly hot and humid in the summertime. And so with that in mind, I always carry a cooler back here with me. Naturally, it's empty most of the time. But if I had to travel like 100 miles or 50 miles or any great distance, I would stop at some kind of a convenience store, throw a few bags of ice in it, maybe a couple other sports drinks or some candy or anything else like that. So I never go on long distance trips without having my ice in my cooler and taking my cooler with me. The second thing I always take with me is I always have a couple chairs. So I know that sounds kind of crazy and that's a little bit esoteric, but in reality, if you're broke down on the side of the road or you're stuck somewhere, sitting in your truck gets old. So it never hurts to have a couple extra chairs to be able to sit outside in if you need to or you want to sit in the shade. And finally, in any trip over 100 miles, I always carry a toolbox with me. In this particular case, it's my regular toolbox that I have at my house, but it has everything in it that I might need to fix my truck, from some socket wrenches, screwdrivers, hammers, zip ties, everything I need. And as I mentioned earlier in this, I carry a serpentine belt, most cases, behind the seat in the back of my cab, in case my serpentine belt should go bad, and so I could actually put a new serpentine belt on should it break or anything. So in essence, that's what I have in the back of my truck. It has a spray-in liner, which in general, if you look at, it's about 22 years old, so it's starting to wear a little thin. I have a fifth wheel hitch right here in the middle that's been in here since I bought it, but to be honest with you, I've never used it because I traditionally just use the tow hitch in the back of my truck. We hope that this video was informative to you and provided you with some information that will be helpful to you in getting your vehicle prepared for any type of road trip that you have to go on, and what would be good for you to have every day as you drive around town or around your neck of the woods. We would like to thank the Wyoming Antelope Club here in Pinellas Park, Florida, for allowing us to shoot this video here. Then also look into our Buyers Club. Join the Buyers Club, which will give you access to thousands of items, many that you can buy at extremely good prices for items that you need in your truck or your car to carry with you every day. So we look forward to you visiting us again, and we hope this will all be helpful to you. In the meantime, be safe, and we'll catch you next time.